In this video, I'm going to show you how you can change the format of your numbers in Power BI from this kind of default number format to something that you might be more familiar with in a traditional profit and loss report. Something like this, where the negative numbers are in brackets and where the null values or zeros are just with dashes. To do that, we're going to use the format function in DAX. The syntax is quite straightforward. It's format, then open brackets, then the value that you'd like to format, followed by the format string that defines the format that you want to present. So if we look at our table, we've got the month value here, which is actually a measure called PL actual, or profit and loss actual. And what we'll do is we'll create a new measure called format PL actual, which is a formatted version of this. Remember, the syntax is format, then the value is PL actual, the measure, and the format we want to follow is with a 1000 separator, no decimal points, and brackets for negative numbers, and a dash for zeros. So we specify that by opening quotation marks, hash hash, comma for the 1000 separator, hash hash hash, no decimal point. That's the positive number format. Now the negative number format comes after the semicolon, brackets, and we'll do the same again, hash hash, comma, hash hash hash, close brackets, and now the format for zeros is just a dash. We close the quotation marks, close the brackets for the format function, and commit. Now let's replace our month value with our formatted value. And we'll rename it month again. And what we can see is a couple of things. One thing is it's correctly formatted the negative numbers in brackets. However, it hasn't formatted these blank spaces. In fact, it's added lines here where there are blank spaces. We'll come on to that later on. But the reason it hasn't formatted these blank spaces is because they were blanks and not zeros. So if we add a condition to our format function, if is blank, and it's our measure, our PL actual measure that we want to test for. So if it is blank, we want to display the dash sign. If it is not, then we want to display this formatted value. And we close the brackets for the if statement. Now we can see that we've got dashes now where there's no value. But our problem here aesthetically is that because the numbers have all been changed, actually the formatting function has changed them to a text value. They're all left justified instead of right justified. And actually what we want is right justified. So let's go into the field formatting. For a month, and we just select alignment right. And also to apply to the total, that's okay. So now we see our month number is displaying correctly. And we'll do the same for year to date. But a very simple way to do it will be to copy and paste this measure. So we'll call this format PL actual year to date. And everywhere where we see PL actual, we'll just replace that with PL actual year to date. and commit. And now we will replace the year-to-date value with our new format actual year-to-date measure. And we will call that year-to-date. And we will right justify it. Make sure that also applies to the total. And there we have our profit and loss statement formatted in the way that we wanted, with our negative numbers in brackets, our null values as dashes, and no decimal points. We have one problem though, because in the conversion of the number value to a text value, which has actually been displayed on the screen now, it's now displaying all the nulls as well. So where both lines are null, we actually want to omit that line. Otherwise our P&L report just takes up too many lines. So the way to do that in this particular case is very straightforward, because there will never be a case where there's not a value in year to date, but there is a value in the month. So we select the visual, and if I add a visual level filter for PL actual year to date is not blank, and that's now cleaned up my report.